Hi, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kira.
And we are the Keepers of the Books, your online librarians. And we are here with a weekly reads episode. It's been a little while. We'll see how our voices hold out. I lost my voice for about 4.5 weeks. I couldn't speak for long periods of time. So anyways, we have some great books to review. We have a lot of books read. It's probably not all going to fit in this week. Some of the books we have this week include Batman by Marie Lu, Wizard for Hire by Obert Sky, Mistress of All Evil, Potion Masters by Frank L. Cole, Rapunzel in the Lost Lagoon, and many more.
Black Panther, Battle for Wakanda by Brandon T. Snyder. Many of you are probably familiar with this series since the movie just came out. This is from a review copy from Marvel. It follows this origin story of T'Challa, and they're dealing with some bad guys trying to take over their sacred mound, and his people are really angry. So the worst thing that could ever happen is the Avengers show up, and they want him to stand for crimes for stealing a very highly classified weapon. But he's been on Wakanda the whole time. So how could he have stolen the weapon? Who's masquerading as him? So this is a fun story. I like the Black Panther. I recommend it for anyone who likes comic books or is interested in Marvel, especially the action adventure and mystery part of the story. There is one downside to this book. Some of the pages like this one are not only black, but some of the writing is in dark purple. So if you are colorblind or dyslexic, this may be a book that's really hard for you to read. It has good pictures though, and an engaging story, and for fans of Black Panther, you'll definitely want to pick this up. I would recommend this for grades 4 through 7 or ages 9 to 12.
Of course, if you have an ELL student or a reluctant reader who reads at a lower level, this would be a good option for them as well. Granted by John David Anderson. He also wrote Ms. Bixby's Last Day and Posted. This review book from Walden Pond Press. So this one is about Ophelia Delphinium Fidgets. She is a fairy and she is in a world with a diminishing amount of magic caused by a lack of unbelief among the humans. And every day they go to the tree and the tree loses some leaves, and those are the wishes that are going to be granted. But the tree only loses as many leaves as magic that it has to grant wishes. So Ophelia is a grantor fairy, and she has just gotten her first assignment. She's sure that it's going to go according to plans because she is going to be the best grantor fairy ever. She knows it. And the granting department has a perfect track record. They have never failed to grant a wish. This wish belongs to Cassara Quinn, who has asked for a purple bike. Her wish was a coin thrown in the fountain. Delphinium has to go find the coin, grant the wish, and make sure that Cassara gets her bike. As you can see, she's riding well, you probably can't see it. She's riding a dog and her fairy wing is tattered. So you can guess that not everything goes according to plan. But how wrong can it go? This is a great, cute fairy magic book. And I know that's kind of a popular topic among some children, especially girls, in a certain age range. And this falls right in that age range. I'm gonna say this is for grades 3 through 7, or about ages 8 through 12. Now, obviously, if you're using this with a 3rd grader, they're going to be a better reader, or you're going to be reading it with them. But I think this would be a great one to read together or as a bedtime story, as well as for those better readers as well in that younger range.
A Wrinkle in Time, A Guide to the Universe by Carrie Sutherland. Illustrated by Vivian Wu. This one, the movie, is just about to come out. This will follow the story of course, Meg, Charles Wallace, and her friend Calvin. And of course, Mrs. Whatsit, Mrs. Witch, and Mrs. Who. Meg's father disappeared some time ago. These 3 elemental misses show up on Meg's doorstep on a stormy night. And they need her and her brother and Meg's friend Calvin to come with them so that they can save her father from the darkness. There's an evil agent known as the It who is controlling the darkness and is holding her father. Meg and her friends stop him from basically just taking over the world with his darkness. Now, The Wrinkle in Time is such a fun classic story, and this is a fun twist on that. It'll be great for grades 4 through 7 or ages 8 to 12. If you have a little bit more advanced reader, they could definitely pick this up. Nice illustrations that are colorful and eye-catching. I like how there's a lot of white space and good, easy-to-read fonts. Great paper quality. This is a review copy from Disney Hyperion.
I'll be honest, I went and talked about The Wrinkle in Time with the classes. I just was going to say, hey, look, I have a new copy of Wrinkle in Time available with the new cover, with the movie coming out. Some of you might be interested in that. But then they asked me what it's about, and I could not remember for the life of me because it had been so long ago. I think I read it in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and I'm just like, I do not remember what A Wrinkle in Time is about. I remembered, the characters' names, which for me is completely the opposite. I usually always remember the plot line and not the character names.
And I'm usually the opposite.
So I totally fumbled on that one in the class. But
I'll admit, I remembered I really liked the book, but I could not remember what it was about either. So it's nice to have the good refresher.
I think that it's really good that Disney picked this movie up. It's been done in the past, I think, a couple times, and the movie's never really worked. I don't know if we just didn't have the technology to do the movie the right way, or it just wasn't picked up by a big enough company to do it justice. I'm really excited that Disney's doing this and that the actors and actresses are so great that I think this movie is going to be fantastic and is finally going to get the attention that it deserves.
I agree. And I bet you it is because of the technology, because there's so many fun little things that pop up in the book that I think would have been hard to do a few years ago with special effects.
So I got a review copy from Penguin Random House of Becoming Madeline. This is the biography of Madeleine L'Engle. And I didn't know that it was L'Engle. I always said it L'Engle, which I don't know why, but it's Madeleine L'Engle. And there's a reason she goes by Madeleine L'Engle. It's not actually her name. So this is narrated by her granddaughters and written by them as well. And it's Charlotte Jones Voikis and Lena Roy. And it's really short. The audiobook was only 2 hours and 50 minutes. So this is going to be one of those middle grade biographies. So it's going to be for grades, I would say 4 through about 8 or 9. And that's ages about 10 through 14 or 15. This came out in February. It talks about the history of the author, how she became who she was, because it's not the most straightforward narrative. She had a really rough childhood growing up, I think. I don't know if I would have survived. Of course, you survive what you have to survive, but I don't think her parents were necessarily quite in the picture as much as a lot of children did. It's kind of an interesting life school style. She ended up in boarding school. She lived in France and here, in the US. And she did not always fit in. She was not the popular girl at first. By the time she gets to high school, she's like student body president and stuff like that. But it incorporates journal entries, it incorporates postcards that she wrote to her mom. The primary sources are in there. Not only that, it talks about how she ended up becoming an author. This was not her first career choice. She did struggle as an actress and a playwright. I think her husband died kind of young. She had health issues. Obviously, she was raising children. New York was not the easiest place to raise a family. And it also talks about how A Wrinkle in Time came to be and where her inspiration for that story came from. So I really enjoyed it. It was an interesting biography, and I think kids will like hearing this kind of a story, especially because it helps them to see that they're not alone and that they aren't the only person with struggles in life. Rapunzel and the Lost Lagoon by Layla Howland. This is a Tangled novel, and it's a very cute Tangled novel. It goes with the Tangled TV series. It is a review copy from Disney. It's told in the dual perspectives. So it's told by Cassandra, and it's told by Rapunzel. And you've got lots of Flynn Rider in there. For some reason, I had seen an episode of the Tangled series on TV, and it was right before I started this book. So every time I saw Flynn Rider's narrating, I heard everything he was saying in Zachary Levi's voice. I don't know why, but it just seemed to be that's Flynn Rider's voice now, and that's what ends up in my head. Of course, Mandy Moore's voice ends up in there for Rapunzel, so it took me a longer time to read this book than usual, just because the character voices are going on. This one is after Rapunzel, the Tangled movie. Rapunzel is in need of a lady in waiting. Cassandra wants to be a guard. Instead of her being a guard, she is told by her father, you need to be her lady in waiting. This is a very good opportunity for you. Cassandra's a little peeved at this, and Cassandra does not like Eugene. It's quite an unlikely pairing. Cassandra wants to be off on adventures, of course so does Rapunzel, and they don't know that at first, that they both want to be adventuresses. Rapunzel is like, hey, you gotta get over it. Eugene and we're gonna get married, and so you're just gonna have to deal with him and learn to get along. Rapunzel loves the library. She really likes the old books, and she finds this really old book about a lost lagoon. It's not written in a language she's familiar with, and so that is part of it, this mythic tale they have to get translated, and that means that some people are going to find out about their secret. Only in pieces though. Cass wants to map the entire kingdom, and Rapunzel wants to find the lagoon. They just happen to go together. Of course, Rapunzel's hair grows back because she has to leave where she's supposed to be. And she feels bad because this is her and Cass's secret. This is what's going to bring them together. But she has to lie to Eugene about her hair. This secret takes these two on a very unlikely adventure to find this, and of course, they are not the only ones. There's always people out to destroy the kingdom. Can they be friends? Can they learn to get along? Can they learn to trust each other? Can Rapunzel keep secrets from Eugene?
Not very well, I'm sure.
It was really cute. I'm going to say this is great for grades about 4 or 5 through 8, about ages 10 through 14. I was carrying this book in the hallway between classes because sometimes when I fix computers, it's like hurry up, type, wait, you know? And so I take a book with me. And I have to say, I know I said grades 5 through 8, but I had 9th grade girls stopping me in the hall going, when's that gonna be in the library? I need that book. I need that book. They're in 9th grade. I mean, because Rapunzel is older, I think she's a princess that actually does appeal to older girls as well.
I do too.
She's a multifaceted person. She's like real. Anyways, you could definitely give it to a 9th or 10th grader if they like Rapunzel and be just fine. They may not necessarily want to read it in public, but they'll read it. They'll like it.
Batman by Marie Lu. So I actually picked this up because a teenager at my work recommended it, and then Jessica came home with it from her work.
I know. I had to buy it.
It just seemed destined for me to read it. This is basically the origin story of Batman. He is...
But it's written by Marie Lu. Come on.
I mean, she's just plain awesome. I mean, come on, Warcross is one of the best books I've read this year yet. And this one's the next best I've read this year. And this, of course, follows Bruce Wayne. He just turned 18 and he's about to inherit his family's company. And
he's not very responsible.
No, he's not. He makes a very impulsive decision that ends up getting him community service at the Arkham Asylum. He ends up meeting this girl, Madeline Wallace, who is a known killer who also has ties to the Nightwalkers. Well, the Nightwalkers are also causing havoc in Gotham, so the two of them have to put their differences aside and team up to stop the Nightwalkers. Will they succeed? Well, it's Batman, so yeah, probably.
She hasn't done it yet.
If you like Batman, of course, or if you just plain like Marie Lu, you're going to want to pick this one up. It's a great adventure, full of engaging plot, and it was very hard to put down.
And you just managed to talk about a Batman book without going and doing your Lego voice.
I am Batman.
There we go.
Had to do it. I would recommend this for grades 7 and up or ages 12 and up just because it has a lot of complex plot to it that will probably appeal more to the older age range, but a younger person could also pick it up.
I have this group of boys that it doesn't matter if a book says Marie Lu, they have to check it out right away and read it. So I had to buy several copies just because I knew this one was going to be popular because it's Batman and it's Marie Lu.
So actually, when it was recommended to me by another teen, I went to go check it out and all the copies were out with lots of holds. So I was so glad you brought it home.
I had a hard time getting that one. It was sold out at the bookstore. Eternity Elixir by Frank L. Cole. This is a review copy from Shadow Mountain. And I generally love the middle grade books that Shadow Mountain puts out because my students love them. And they're fun and the worlds they create are just really engaging. This is the publishing group that originally brought you Fablehaven. This is Potion Masters #1. So this is going to be a series. This is by Frank L. Cole and
he's also written Hash Brown Winters.
So some read-alikes for this one. If your kids liked Candy Shop War, if they liked Janitors, and if they liked Unwanted, this is going to be a great series to put them in. Or Fablehaven, of course. Fablehaven's fantastic. Now this is about 12-year-old Gordy. He is an elixirist and he is a total natural. His mom is on the ruling board of elixirists worldwide, also known as Brew. They have this strange secret lab in their basement and there's like this stinky mummy down there. They have to like go in Febreze every so often. Yeah. His best secret potions he keeps hidden in these floorboards in his room. He doesn't want his mom to know about him because she might get mad that he's dealing with some things that are so powerful. His mom travels on business a lot, and when she goes out of town on business this time, these strange people kind of start hanging around and this box shows up. And that's when the trouble begins. When he opens his box and he pricks his finger, he needs to know what in the world this potion is and why his aunt sent it to them. Because all of a sudden, these strange people are trying to get in the house or trying to like control his family or his dad and take over everything. But anyways, they're like insisting that they have entry to the house and trying to snoop around and following them to the grocery store, you know, that kind of thing. Just like crazy stalker people, but scarier. Can Gordy protect his family? What's this potion? This eternity elixir? Why do they want it so much? What does it do? Where is Mom? I loved this book. Definitely a 5-star read. It's going to be those middle grades, so grades 4 through 8 is probably who this is going to appeal to most. Again, if you have a really good reader, even 2nd, 3rd grade, this is going to be a great one too, because there's nothing in it. There's no content that's going to preclude a young child from reading it if this is the reading level that they are on. Grades 4 through 8 are ages 10 through about 15.
All's Fair in Middle School by Victoria Jamieson. This follows 11-year-old Imogene, and she has been homeschooled her whole life. Her family runs a Renaissance fair, and it takes up a lot of time, so she has to, in the past, have been around to help. And she goes to middle school for the first time. She happens to get into the wrong crowd with mean girls, and she's torn because not long after she meets another girl who comes to the Renaissance fair every weekend with her dad that Imogene really likes and gets along well with. But she's confused because the girl ignores her at school. Some things happen where she doesn't make the best decision and ends up getting in major trouble at the school and getting suspended. And now she has to figure out how to make things right before it's too late. Which friends will she choose? This is a graphic novel. I like the layout, has very good pictures that are eye-catching and drawing into the story. And when she has her parts that are the Renaissance Fair, you actually feel like you're at the Renaissance Fair. If you like realistic fiction, you like things like Raina Telgemeier, you'll want to pick up this book at grades 3 to 6 or ages 8 to 12.
Okay, Wizard for Hire by Obert Sky. This is another review copy from Shadow Mountain. This was a fun book. Obert Sky wrote Levin Thumps and Pillage and so many more. I really like the Wonkenstein series.
I love the Wonkenstein series.
The Wonkenstein series is just hilarious, and it's a really good one for kids who like things like Diary of a Wimpy Kid or Chicken Nugget Boy, but they're a little bit older.
Or reluctant readers.
Right, and if you haven't read Wonkenstein, pick it up. This one is going to be, again, the same type of readers who like things like The Eternity Elixir or Fablehaven. So this definitely takes place in this world. And this is about Ozzy. He was 7 years old when his parents moved him from New York City to this remote, isolated cottage in the middle of nowhere, off-grid, no electricity. He's out playing one day when he's 7 and with, I believe, his dragon, like a toy dragon in the river. And his parents, he sees these guys in green come and they take his parents away and they leave him for dead. These guys are scary. They're in this van. I mean, they've got guns and stuff, and so he just decides that, well, they're gonna leave him for dead. So soon after this kidnapping, he decides he's really, really super smart and well-read, and so there's this huge supply of food storage in the basement, and he just lives off that for quite a while. And 7 years pass. And he finds this bird and this tape recorder and these tapes, and they are solar powered. And this bird is super special. I mean, this bird can think for itself. His dad made it. It's solar powered and it's totally awesome. And he likes hearing the recordings that his dad's in. But he decides one day he needs a little bit more. So he decides to start exploring. He walks to the beach. He meets this girl. He really likes this girl, wants to get to know her. So he decides he's going to go to school. He has some trouble figuring out local customs and stuff because he's been off grid so long and wasn't really part of the world before that because he was so young. He has some challenges. He wants to figure out what's going to happen to his parents, and he decides to hire a wizard to help him figure out what's happened to his parents. And this is their adventure of him trying to acclimate and learn how to be on his own and how it goes going to school and everything else. I mean, seriously, people are going to ask questions if this kid just shows up, right? But who can he trust? Who's after him? Who are those guys in green? And what happened to his parents? This is a great book.
Sounds like if they liked the Mission Unstoppable Genius File series, they might like this one.
Yeah, that's a good one. And this comes out in March. This is a great book for grades 4 through 8 or ages 10 through 14. But again, this is a book that could go younger if you have a really, really good reader, because there's, again, no content that's going to preclude a younger reader from this book.
The Bone Queen by Alice Crokin. This is part of the Pelennor series. Cad Van has done something he shouldn't have and released the Bone Queen. He gets exiled from Barding. Now, he gets pretty upset, and so when he's living in this mining village, enlists a couple of friends to help him to recapture the Bone Queen before it's too late, so they can not only get back on the good side of the barding people, but also to save the world. This is an action-packed adventure full of fantasy, magic, and characters are engaging. The plot is complex and interesting. If you like books like The Red Queen, or if you like fantasy adventure, you'll want to pick this one up. This is for a little bit older age. I would recommend it for grades 8 and up or ages 13 and up. This is a review copy from Candlewick Press.
Mistress of All Evil, a dark fairy tale by Serena Valentino. This is book 4 of the Villain series. Book 5 comes out in July. These really do need to be read in order because the stories build upon each other. So Maleficent's motives for her actions are very complex, and there is a big, long history. This book covers glimpses from her childhood. So it starts with like her childhood and glimpses of that, and it goes through when she sets Aurora's curse. What is Maleficent's relationship to the three good fairies, and why did she curse Aurora exactly the way she did? This book explains, again, the complex histories, and it explains the relationships between the villains and the heroes in the fairy tale kingdom. But who raised Maleficent? And how? How did she become this Mistress of All Evil? And this book answers those questions. This was a great book, and this is a good series to pick up. I gave this one, I don't know, 4.5, 5 stars kind of thing. It's really good. It's very engrossing, and it's a review copy from Disney Press. Ages, this is a hard one because really this is going to be for grades about 5 and up or ages about 11 through 18, just depending on who wants to read it. All right, well, thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed these reviews, and we will have more very shortly because we have a lot more books read and ready to go, but I don't think our voices are gonna hold out much longer. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, and please like, comment, and subscribe so that you hear about more book reviews and other videos from us. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.
Bye.